So Dave Reichert said something today that was a strategic answer. It's probably an honest answer, but it was strategic, and it is not landing with Republicans. Dare I tell you that you should temper your anger here. You're going to be angry. You're going to be annoyed. Some of you are going to say, told you so. Let's listen to what he said on our sister station, Cairo News Radio. But after you hear it and get angry, let's actually talk through why he said what he said.
An interview you did with me is I was moving through the airport security, and you asked me about Donald Trump. Do you remember this conversation? 2016, I think.
Vaguely.
And
what did you say?
You said, what do you think? You remember. I said, Donald Trump is a joke. Do you remember this?
No, but you really want to say that now? You really want to remind me of that conversation? How is that going to help you?
Yes. So you can find the clip. Your staff can find the clip on your radio show. People enjoy hearing our
So do you still stand by that?
Yes.
You do? Donald Trump is a joke. I think you've just made national news.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I guess we'll find out in the coming minutes.
Let's dial back that part. You're not making national news here. However, some of you are saying, why would he bring that up? Dave Russ asked that question. Why would you think that's going to help you? Yeah, he does. That's why he said it. Now, I clearly don't think he's a fan of Donald Trump, but he's tried his best not to bring up Donald Trump at all for a simple reason. Did you realize that in Washington State, you cannot be a MAGA Republican and win statewide office? Is this breaking news? Did people not realize that?
Maybe some people, but any reasonable person should know
that's that. That's the truth. Do I like that? No, of course not. Do I wish we had more conservatives and this was a purple state in which you can support the former president of the United States running again against some guy or initially who couldn't stand up straight, and now against someone else who can't put together a clean sentence? One that you can say, oh, I understand what it is she's saying there, and she answered so directly. How refreshing. Sure, I wish we lived in that place. We don't. And there are a lot of people who are mad at Dave Reichert, who are conservatives who are mad at Dave Reichert for saying what he said, not seeming to realize that he is being painted by Bob Ferguson as a MAGA Republican. This tweet or post on X was sent out by Bob Ferguson at 2:45. Dave Reichert keeps lying to you about his support of Donald Trump. Now, does anyone think that Dave Reichert supports Donald Trump, even before you heard that clip just now?
Doesn't seem to be a very effusive. Doesn't seem very effusive about.
He does not. Just say he does not. So you don't have to use effusive in your word of the day calendar today. Just say he's no. Clearly not, right? I mean, that wasn't that part of the problem for the base of the Republicans, who were the delegates at the convention deciding to go with Semi Bird as their endorsed candidate over Dave Reichert, was because he's not conservative enough, quote unquote, right? That's what this was about. He was anti-Trump at the time. Weirdly enough, if you look at his record, he wasn't anti-Trump to the degree that some conservatives think, but he wasn't some Trump loyalist. He's never been. You want to know why? Because he's a moderate Republican who represented a purple district. That's why. You might not like his vote, but what does that have to do with his district, which is very clearly not hardcore red? That's the reality. He was not a supporter of Trump, but Bob Ferguson has been painting him falsely as a MAGA supporter because he knows that hurts him statewide. And so Dave Reichert has to come out at this point, at the end of the campaign, because if he doesn't, he's 1,000% going to lose. And right now, you don't want him to be in that position. Because if all is equal and he's being treated fairly and actually getting a shot with media coverage and whatnot, he still would be at a disadvantage because he's got an R next to his name. So what did you expect to hear from him? Hardcore, all of a sudden he's like, just kidding, I'm a huge supporter of Donald Trump. How does that help him? Now, the question simply becomes this, and this is why this was a calculation on his campaign's part. Will he alienate enough Republicans who are Trump supporters and will decide not to vote at all for the gubernatorial race? Will he alienate more Republicans than he will bring in moderates to support him over Bob Ferguson? I don't know the answer to that, which is why I implore you to understand that this was a strategy. No, he's not a Trump supporter. He's not. We knew that. No, he's not a hardcore conservative Republican. We knew that. But he was the only one who had a shot at winning against Bob Ferguson. And y'all can pretend on the semi-bird loyalist side all you want that a vote for Dave Reichert is the same as voting for Bob Ferguson. You have no clue what the hell it is you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. You do not understand anything about this guy, and you're part of the reason why Republicans lose elections that we can win. Now, a hardcore conservative can win in Washington, just not statewide races, at least not now. That is the reality. Whether we like it or not does not matter. It is the truth. Unless you want to tell me that Lauren Culp really won. Go have at it. I mean, if you want, I guess. Was that election stolen too? Or was that we made a grave mistake in giving him that position as a Republican to take on Jay Inslee? These are the realities. Let us not live in a fantasy land. Let us not allow the perfect to be the enemy of the good. It is way better to have a Dave Reichert in the governorship than it is to have Bob Ferguson. Way better, infinitely better. Because on the issues that matter the most to us, when it comes to homelessness, crime, drug use, Dave Reichert is on the same side as us. He's on the same side of Washingtonians because these issues aren't truly inherently political, ideological. They're not. The left's positions are. Ours are not. Ours are just like, hey, we ought to enforce the law. That's not an ideological position. What is an ideological position? The criminal justice system is inherently racist. It's born out of white supremacy. It must be dismantled and then rebuilt. That's an ideological position. Republicans don't hold that position. Most Democrats don't hold that position. So just understand what it is that we just experienced this morning and the news that's getting covered. And dare I say, it's on all of us to make sure that other Republicans understand that. And if you're not comfortable supporting someone like that, okay, I get it. I get it. But no, all that does is help Bob Ferguson. If that's what you want to do, have at it. But I would rather you just silently not vote than scream on X like the same small group of fringe conservatives do about Dave Reichert all day, every day. It's enough.